G'day everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back once again to another Saw However Many Years Later video, and today I am joined by some very special guests, two of my best friends on the YouTube platform. It's been a while since we've collaborated, but that doesn't mean that they don't hold a very special place in my heart either way. I have Ashley and Ken from Sledgehammer Horror. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
A whole lot better now, man.
Yeah.
We've missed you like crazy. We've been talking about how we got to get you back on the channel for an In Defense Of video. So we're very excited to make that happen too.
Yep. No, guys, thank you so much for joining. It seriously is amazing to have you guys here. We were just talking about before we started recording that it's been a long time since we've collaborated, whether it's on your channel or my channel. It's been some time, and you were the first people I contacted when it came to me come with the idea to do these videos. So, seriously, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Excited.
And we're talking about, well, I gave Ken the choice of which Saw movie we wanted to do. Or was it your choice, Ashley?
It was his choice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was kind of a collaborative effort. Because I think this is one that Ashley and I both feel is extremely underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel enough people talk about this one, and this is probably my second favorite in the franchise. So any chance to talk about this film, I am definitely down, man.
I'm the exact same with you. Saw 6 is my second favorite Saw film. It does a lot of things that are very familiar, but a lot of things that are very unique and new for the series, even by the sixth entry, which is sort of a blessing. And why this movie works so well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The way that I'm doing these videos is we're just going to go through Saw 6, and if we can think of anything, talk about it, but we will leave, like, certain characters like William Easton, we'll leave the Abbott family, we'll leave things like the traps until much, much later, and then what you think of John's test for William Easton. Was it deserved? Was it not? What do you think's the overarching story here?
Okay. Well, when it comes to his game, his test for William, was it deserved? Yes. William Easton is one of the grossest people on the face of the planet. When you feel like you decide who should live and who should die among human beings, when you feel like you can determine that, you're trying to play God. And no person should have the ability to choose something like that.
Yeah.
However,
Kind of like what Jigsaw does.
Yeah.
but the thing is with Jigsaw, like, here's the thing. This is what I don't like about this one. Like, the people that are in the traps, they don't have the choice to live or die. And you've always had that. Like, you have the choice to live. You have the choice to die. Follow my game. I'm depending on him to put a bolt through his hand to save my life.
Yeah.
I don't have a choice in this game. And earlier, even when, go back into my favorite of the franchise, personally, Saw 3, everybody that Jeff was trying to save, he had the opportunity to save that one person. There was never a time where it's like, you know what? There's 6 people here, and 4 of them are going to die no matter what you do. He had a chance, and he had at least an opportunity to save every single one of those people. In this movie, there's times where it's like you're in a lose-lose. You cannot win no matter what. Either this person or this person is going to die, or 4 of these people are going to die. So that's where the darkness, I feel, comes into this film.
But for me personally, I feel like that's actually one of the elements that works so much about Saw 6 personally. Because what John is doing and why I think this movie is so special is we've never had a borderline political Saw film up until Saw 6. And everything that is going on in Saw 6 for the traps all evolves around his policies, his system. Why is my phone going off right now? But when it comes to Saw 6, though, everything's around these policies. Everything's around these political elements of this company, Umbrella Corps, which I'm a big Resident Evil fan. That's a red flag on its own, where this company is called fucking Umbrella. But at the same time, like, you look at the, the shotgun carousel. Only 2 out of 6 of you can get off the carousel. 2/3 of you must die. Okay, he only granted 1/3 of coverage to his clients. When it came to, I'm going to call it the gallows. I can't remember the exact name of the trap, the one with the barbed wire, and he has the 2 what is it, wires that he has to let go of one of them. He would usually save the young, even though they literally have no loved ones. No one would miss them. But even though the older lady is someone that isn't necessarily in better health, there are a lot of people that would miss her, but he'd always go in favor of the younger, more fit person who doesn't necessarily desire nor need the coverage right now.
Right.
So it was testing William on that case. And then Hank, being a smoker, it was his choice. He deserves to die, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's what it was in William's eyes. Like, as a smoker, it's a lot more complicated than my choice. There are so many reasons to why someone smokes, why someone continued to smoke, etc. That's why I love this film, because it is political and it goes on very real issues that are in the real world regarding some healthcare and medical companies.
Absolutely. They don't see people, they see a number, which is sad.
How can we save the most money?
How can we save the most money? Yeah, absolutely.
And that goes back to, real life things, especially, the Affordable Care Act. That was a big thing at the time. And insurance has always been a scary thing here in the United States. I can't speak for you guys overseas, but
it's getting there. It's getting there right now. The cost of living is becoming ridiculous here.
It's crazy, yeah. And even insurance is outrageous, and you still have to pay so much money out of pocket. It's just it's crazy, and I like how they put that in here.
Yep.
And there's a lot of ties in the movie. Like when the dad is like, "You just killed me." And he walks off. And then later on the shotgun carousel, he's literally telling him, "You look at me while you're killing me." So like you may not be pulling this trigger. You may not be the cancer in my body or the heart problem I had. I believe the dad had a heart problem.
He dying of like a heart.
Like a heart disease.
You may not be the thing that's killing me, but it's your fault that I'm here. It's your fault I'm dying.
But behind the desk, it's easier for him to just say no, and then he doesn't have to watch that person die. He just says no, and they're gone. But now he has to actually see these people die.
Some of the best acting ever, too. You look at me when you're
me. They're part of the bullpen, and there's a scene early on before the trap plot even goes on where he's talking to his lawyer, whoever the hell she was that was in the steam room trap. He's literally like, the bullpen does all the work and finds any hole in their file of which we can deny their coverage. And I'm like, fuck, you are actually a criminal. You're a con artist.
Yep.
And guess what?
Imagine having that job, like trying to find reasons to not help people. Like, that's just such a despicable thing. Like, I couldn't do it. There's no way in hell I could live with myself doing that.
You got a choice, even if you're working for this despicable asshole who put these policies in place. You, working for this company, have a choice, but I bet you anything, William to grab onto them and have that little tie on them is like, oh, if you do it, whoever gets the most gets this amount of bonus this month.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what it boils down to.
Well, if we don't take the money from them, that goes in your pocket.
Yeah,
so.
Which is such a, and that's what's so sad is that's how it is. For these insurance companies and stuff. If we stop the coverage on these people, that's money that we get as bonuses for us. And that's so like now I got to look at my son, my two daughters, and tell them that I can't be helped right now. That's. I seriously couldn't live with myself like that. I could not live I couldn't come home and lay my head on my pillow at night and be comfortable with the human being that I am. If I could tell people, I'm not going to help you live.
It's so wrong on so many levels, but that's also why I think the road to discovery for William and his arc to be a better person, him later on through each trap, through each test, it's a game that feels very personal to this I'm not even going to call him a protagonist. He is a villain in this movie. He is the villain. But following him for his redemption arc in this movie, realizing through each subsequent trap the wrongs and the undoing of his ways, what he has been doing is so disgusting and so criminal, as a matter of fact. And I think it's so fascinating looking at the Saw 10 trailer and what the plot of that is and how it's going back to the roots of what made Saw 6 so special and so good as well. It makes me excited, especially when Saw 6 is the movie in the flashback sequence that's like, there's this experimental treatment in Norway where they've put me on a list where I might be able to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's really cool that this is sort of, I know it's different. It's New Mexico in Saw 10, but I have a feeling it's going to tie in a certain way regarding the Peterson project. That it is actually linked to Saw 6, because this is very reminiscent of that treatment that he mentioned in Saw 6, now rewatching it. And, you know, we could have another damn good entry in the series come Saw 10 because of that. Like, the movie got pushed forward a month because test screenings were so positive that producers Oren Coles and Mark Berg thought that they were rigged. They openly said this at the panel. I think the best Saw movies are the ones that borderline are political. You look at Saw 2 in regards to the one that, has the cops and how there are the bad cops that plant evidence and it's a test of really the cop and not the people inside the nerve gas house. Saw 1 regarding that this is a real thing that could really happen, that you are kidnapped, put in a room, wake up in a murderous game where you gotta live or die, make your choice. The best entries in the Saw series are the ones that are borderline political, in my opinion.
Me too.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree as well. I think it's more like you feel it more.
Yes.
Like it feels more real. Yeah.
But I also wanted to talk about the flashbacks of this movie, because I think, in regards to certain Saw movies, the flashbacks sort of make or break the series. Saw 4, I actually think, is interesting when it has the flashbacks and everything regarding Betsy Russell and Peter Strahm, played by Scott Patterson. And it honestly is a betterment for the movie, and the trap plot is borderline boring, in my opinion. Like, the traps are cool, but the overall plot surrounding it isn't that interesting. When it comes to Saw 5, I actually think a lot of the flashbacks are really good regarding the relationship between Hoffman and Jigsaw. Saw 6 is a bit of a weird one for me, though, because there are certain ones where it's like the flashbacks between William Easton and Jigsaw are phenomenal. One iconic line such as just, piranha. But then you've got everything else regarding the dinner between William and John, and then you've also got him meeting with William and talking about this experimental treatment, his coverage, and what could potentially be to have his tumor removed. But then you have the other ones regarding Amanda and Hoffman and Jigsaw, and I'm like, okay, I love seeing like how these certain traps earlier in the franchise was set up.
Yeah.
But is it needed? I feel like those are the moments where the movie comes to a grinding halt at times.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my negatives. Is it just felt like we already seen this. Like a lot of these flashbacks we've seen in the previous movies. Like that, you don't need to over-explain it to us. You know, we're smarter than that.
I want to say I disagree with both of you right now, because one of my favorite parts of this movie is the flashback scene with Amanda and Hoffman.
Yeah,
seeing those two together was awesome.
Oh, it was cool.
Because they're bickering.
If you don't know about Saw 10, mute your mic or mute the headphones, mute your speakers.
Skip to this point in the video, because we're going to talk about a massive spoiler that I guess isn't a spoiler. It was leaked in the trailer from just a single line of dialogue, but there are set photos, there are a whole bunch of things where you see a certain thing in the background. So just skip to this point in the video.
So Hoffman is coming back for Saw 10.
Yeah.
So we are going to have Hoffman back. We are going to have Amanda back. So like I'm hoping that we can get more of these two together and how they interact with each other.
Like children.
Well, I hope that we can, because if you remember, Saw 6 ended with a post-credit scene.
It did.
Of the little,
only in the unrated cut. And only the
anyway.
unrated cut, not the theatrical. Yes. It's in the unrated version, which I'm so glad I watched, because I completely forgot about that. It's Corbett, where she's like, don't trust the man who will save you. And I'm like, oh.
But then it went
and
nowhere.
we never get anything about that.
Like, I know, it's so weird.
If Jeff's daughter grew up to be fast, but I would like to see more of her story. Like, she's a survivor of the Jigsaw. And maybe we could have some part of her little character in this movie. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Although with Saw 10, I don't think that would be the case, considering Saw 10 takes place between
2 and 3.
No, it's between 1 and 2.
So...
Oh, 1 and 2.
It's 1 and 2.
So
it's predating Saw 2.
That wouldn't make sense then.
Yeah.
Damn. It's but I think the next step that they will go is between 2 and 3. Because Kevin Gruder in his Empire Weekly magazine interview did say that they have a clear direction as to where they want to go, because we can go somewhere after this movie, and it's very clear as to what we want to do. We know that they want to do some more regarding a sequel to Spiral, whether that's in the announced TV show or as a movie. We don't know yet. A script for Jigsaw 2 was pre-written before Spiral was written.
Okay.
But when Chris Rock approached them, they decided to do Spiral instead because, oh my god, Chris Rock is doing this thing and he's come to us like, holy fuck, money, which did not work.
Yeah.
It performed way better on streaming than it did on, which is why I think that the TV show route is probably a better idea for Spiral if they want to continue that story, which I'm all for. I do see them doing a sequel to Saw 7, like, directly, and I also see them doing another in-between movie like this. And remember, there's like a 5-month gap between Saw 1 through to Saw 2, and then there's an even bigger gap of like 6 months between 2 and 3. There is so much you can do between these movies that we have yet to see. So many unanswered questions that the main timeline never answered.
Yeah,
I would love to see Carrie Ells come back for Saw, a sequel to Saw 7. Because who's to say that Hoffman didn't get out of that room? I mean, he got out of the bear trap, man. Like, he could. You don't think Hoffman? You think Hoffman's dead?
I think he's dead. Same with Adam. You cannot convince me that Adam is alive.
No, we see his body in there.
Yeah.
Oh, but the bullet's on the wrong side and the shackle's on the wrong foot. Oh, that's a production issue. If you know anything about filmmaking, these continuity errors, especially in a big IP, always occur.
Right. Yeah, no, Adam's dead as hell. Hoffman, however, he's going to come back and Carrie Ells is going to be eating dinner and Hoffman's going to show up and be like, Carrie! And he's going to be like, as you wish. And they're going to battle it out.
So, I have got to ask as well, what do you think of John and Betsy Russell's relationship, Jill Tuck? What do you think of Betsy Russell? Because she gets a little bit more screen time in this, and the whole soap opera aspect of, hey, here's the box at the beginning of Saw 5, but let's not reveal anything about it until the ending of the next movie.
Well, and you also get, reveals from the box in this movie that aren't revealed until the next movie.
Yeah.
So, like,
what's in that little
envelope?
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Okay. I feel like with how much I love my wife and how much John obviously loves Jill, I feel like he would have gone a little farther to make her happy. I don't think, when she meets him in the tunnel and she's begging him to stop, I think that, if that was a realistic thing, I think that she could have helped him to stop at that moment.
But it's because she went along with it in the end. She went along with it. Yeah. You can see that in the flashback where Amanda was rehabilitated. You can sort of see that look in the one moment where I think Betsy Russell gives a damn good, performance is in that flashback where you see that look in Betsy Russell's eyes. She says a lot just with her eyes. Otherwise, it's nothing against Betsy Russell. She seems so lovely. The behind the scenes with her, she seems like the kindest, most lovely person. I just don't think she's a great actress, unfortunately. She was always a bit wishy-washy regarding her line delivery and her body language in these movies, in my opinion. Again, nothing against her by any means. She looked like she was having a ton of fun like the rest of the cast and crew. But in that scene, though, where John's like presenting Amanda like it's a fucking show and tell at school, is like instantly rehabilitated. That look in Betsy Russell's eyes as Jill Tuck is like the best acting she's ever had. And that's when you're like, she is on with the ride for this. She could have, but that's also a testament to how much Jill loved John, in my opinion.
She was willing to sacrifice for him when he wasn't for her. So,
because he felt that his way was the only way.
So wrong he was.
So wrong he was. And the biggest hypocrite he is, making him the most terrifying of villains, because you can never predict who he is, what he'll do, how he'll put them in the trap, and also what motive he has to put them in for what reason. And that's why I think Jigsaw is one of the most terrifying villains in any series, of horror movies ever. I think he's more terrifying than Jason. I think he's more terrifying than fucking Freddy Krueger. But that's also because of the unpredictability. Because Freddy, it's going to be in the nightmares. You just got to pull him out of the nightmare. When it comes to Michael Myers, Haddonfield, he wants to go home. He'll kill anyone in his way. Jason Voorhees, basically anyone, if you're on a boat and you're heading to New York, or if, you're in Crystal Lake, he's going to come for you. Jigsaw is a little bit different than that. He is based around the fact of you're a criminal or you're not taking your life seriously. You're taking it for granted. I don't care for what reason, whether it's, disregarding your daughter because you're mourning the loss of your son. Hello, that's not fucking easy. I don't think it was very fair on Jeff at all to be put in there. It was a very understandable case for him and also Corbett. But at the same time, that's plays towards the unpredictability factor. Could it be a personal reason? Could it be a political reason? Could it be to test someone else
even
entirely?
If you just smoke cigarettes, like you're getting it.
Yep.
You're being unhealthy.
I'm glad I played the clarinet. I feel like I would still win that trap. I've still got a good lung capacity, even though I smoked for 8 years.
And now, Hank, your time has come. Oh, that's one thing I want to talk about. Like, the shitty thing about this movie is the shotgun carousel, and it's not because I think that's a bad trap. That trap is awesome.
One of the best traps.
I do too.
The longest trap. It's 8 minutes. It's the longest trap in the entire series.
But
what I'll say about it is like
terrifying it is for those people not knowing which one is going to get chosen.
But what I think is so bad about that is like that trap is so damn good. We forget about a lot of the other traps in this film. Like, I think Debbie's is one of the best. Like,
the steam room
in the steam room. Like, I love that trap. Like, I think that trap's great.
I think all the traps in this movie are phenomenal, in my opinion. All of them are great. Like, what is it? The oxygen mask test. Holy shit! The ear-piercing silence of that trap is just haunting.
So I do got to say, we watched this movie last night.
Okay.
And you want to tell him about what observation you made about the oxygen mask?
Well, it's a CPAP mask, but that's...
She was like, that's a CPAP mask? I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, no.
She's a respiratory therapist, guys.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
Something only a doctor or a respiratory therapist would recognize. Right. That's so funny.
I can't watch anything medical with her. She's like, oh, that's how you bag people, huh?
No, I agree with you. Like, the shotgun carousel is so good that you forget a lot of the traps. Holy fuck, we haven't even talked about the opening trap, the pound of flesh.
Yeah.
The single goriest trap in the entire series, in my opinion.
Yeah, when she's cutting off her arm, like that's awesome.
And I just love her.
She is great. She's like, I cut off my fucking arm.
Yeah.
Handicap parking at the damn mall.
Yeah. I was like, she comes back in the next one. She's talking about, this didn't help me. The fuck did this do good for you? Like, I love that she never gets that, like, I see the error of my ways. Like, even in the hospital when Hoffman's like, did you learn your lesson? She's like, I don't got a fucking arm. Fuck you. And you're like,
look at my damn arm. What am I supposed to learn from this, huh?
That was my writing hand.
Simone, right? Is that
Simone?
Yeah,
Simone.
Like, I think she's...
Didn't the actress win a competition to be in this movie as well?
Scream Queens.
Scream Queen, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. She won Scream Queens competition to be a part of Saw 6. Like, that's so dope. That's such a cool thing. And then she ended up coming back for Saw 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she did come back for a little cameo in Saw 7. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just like my biggest complaint about this movie, the two biggest ones that I always have. One Ashley's going to talk about because we were talking about it last night. You want to talk about that real quick? The flashback with Amanda and Cecil.
How Cecil and Amanda were together. You know, when he
no need.
No,
when he was trying to get into the clinic. Yeah, I guess it kind of seems unnecessary. Like that's making that a story. You know,
there was no so Hoffman could put it in a letter.
Yeah,
to blackmail her into getting killed. Like, we didn't need all that.
Yeah.
I liked it better when Amanda went crazy because she wanted all of John's attention. She wanted to be the number one protege. That's what made her a sociopath. That's what made her crazy. I didn't want her to have a reason for having to kill the dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that didn't...
No.
I feel like they need a reason. That's kind of their formula. Like, they need a reason for everything.
I know, but, like, that just takes away from... the legacy of Amanda Young, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She was forced into acting crazy like this to kill this doctor. She didn't have a choice. Like, that's not... I wanted her to just be sociopathic, and I'm your number one, and this is about me, and you're gonna respect and listen to me, John.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted out of Amanda. So that, and I wish we would have had more Amanda and Hoffman time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because that was fun.
They definitely fucked.
And then,
there was so much bickering and so much banter. They definitely fucked.
Oh, there was definitely smash time.
Amanda.
He just looks so annoyed by them. Like,
yeah, John's like, oh, for fuck.
He's like a dad. Kids, he's like a dad watching his kids bicker. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, guys, give it a rest. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm dying here.
And the other thing, like I said, the shotgun carousel, because of that trap and how phenomenal it is, we forget about the pound of flesh. We forget about the Alan and Addie being hanged and you know him having to hold on William and choosing who dies, and like that. And Addie makes another cameo in Saw 7 during this.
Very briefly. Yeah. You also, I think, get a cameo from Kevin Grudet's wife in there as well. Elizabeth, I forgot her last name. Sorry, that's my bad. But his wonderful wife, who is so ecstatic for this new movie to come out, by the way. If you saw that TV spot that he posted on TikTok, she's so excited, which I think
we all are, man.
I love that, though, how supportive she is of her husband for making another entry in this gory franchise. And I've been loving what Kevin Grudet as well has been doing with the behind-the-scenes stuff of Saw 6. Like, posting it on TikTok and all that. Like, he's been posting a lot of that stuff recently. And they all look like they're just having so much fun making these movies. And that's what I love. Even if the entries aren't always the best, like Saw 3D. Or, in my opinion, I know that you defend that movie, Ken. Because I remember you defending Saw 3D back in 2021.
I still like that movie. Look, I get it. Like, the 3D effects are bad. It looks bad. The blood looks bad. I love some of the traps. I think that's Hoffman's best movie. Like, I think Hoffman is just so over the top and insane in that movie.
The Hoffmanator.
Oh yeah, man. One of my favorite twists is in Saw 3D. With Carrie coming back, and
I hate that twist.
I loved it when he has the saw. I don't think so. And he throws it out the door. Like, I loved it.
You can't convince me that they planned on bringing him back 7 movies later. This was just a way to bookend the franchise, to bring out all the stops and everything, because there was a fucking law dispute going on between him and, getting his 1% cut of the royalties of Saw 1 between the release of Saw 2 through to Saw 6. You can't convince me.
He was like, fine, I'll come back. But, like, I'm telling you, man, like, when Bobby's giving his speech, and all of a sudden you just hear,
how grateful we are to be a part of your promotional DVD.
Off my own foot. I'm not about to help you with, like, trapping other people.
He learned his lesson.
No, he didn't.
It was his wanking foot.
Yeah. What was the other thing? I think that besides, I think the most iconic twist in the Saw franchise will always be the first one.
Yeah.
That's the one that I think really,
Absolutely.
But when it comes to my favorite twists of the Saw franchise have always been 3 and 6, because I'm a huge family guy. No pun intended. I love my wife. I love my kids. And when you bring the family aspect into the twist, that's huge for me.
What I know, like, you think that William is actually their dad, like his dad, and
right. And she even says it, we're here because of your father.
Yeah, and I thought the whole time, like, that was her husband.
Right.
And then we find out that, no, he's the reason that their husband/dad is dead.
Right. Killed my dad, motherfucker!
Which, having Roderick Heffley in this movie is so funny.
In my notes, in all caps, I literally have
Roderick.
Because, like, that's all I could see, like, when I see that. Like, I could just imagine him, like, the police.
Oh my god. The horror movie.
Interrogating him, like, the police interrogating him, like, we see on this tape that you pulled the lever. And he's like, it's not me. That's not you.
See, that's my brother Greg. I just got him to watch a horror movie based on Carrie Elway's foot. The foot.
Yes, man. So, like, that's another thing for me is the family twist of this. It's something that gets lost in this that nobody really talks about.
It's a good twist.
That twist
it's simple.
A great twist. Yeah. But what's even sadder than that, his sister still had to watch him die. She had to sit there and watch her brother die. No matter how much of a piece of shit he is, to her, that's still her brother.
Am I the only one that thinks the relationship between them is really weird as well, considering there's a phone call with them early on in the movie where he calls her babe and is like, I know it's your birthday, I'll be home for, later, I've just got to stay back at work for a little bit. I'm like...
Yeah, it is odd. It is odd.
Definitely weird.
Yeah.
Excuse me? Babe?
Because, like, that's another thing. People are like, yeah, but he's a piece of shit. I'm like, I get he's a piece of shit.
But that's still her brother.
But he's probably not a piece of shit to his little sister.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're right. There's some weird domestic girlfriend type relationship between them.
Yeah. And,
that's an anime reference, by the way.
Die in a fucking horrific...
One of the best deaths. Holy shit. That death is incredible.
So good, man.
The behind the scenes of that is some of the coolest shit I've ever seen as well, how they pulled that off.
that's like I said. If you add family into it and you can tug on my heartstrings, because like even the mom, like in that moment when she's like, I can't. I'm not a killer.
Like you are.
He's like, I will. Yeah. I got this. Like that whole part was just like, damn, man, this is heavy. Like heavy shit. Yeah. What if I was in that kid situation at that age? I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you killed my fucking dad, dude. Like eye for an eye. Me now, a 37-year-old. Yeah.
Still would do it.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. If someone did that to my mum, right now, my mum and I, like, we're best friends. My mum and I are literally like best friends. If you do that to my fucking mum, oh boy, I'm gonna put you in a jigsaw trap. You are dead. Yeah. I'm finding you and I'm gonna put you in a bathroom.
In the most painful way ever.
Especially when you see this guy and he walks out and hugs his son and his wife right in front of you. You know, and you're denying him coverage on his heart because he had a canker sore removed or some shit.
He had a lesion or something like
it's like a fucking canker sore.
He might have, cancer
pre-existing. Like shut up, man. Like
that's silly.
Are you fucking kidding me? He's a con artist. That's all he is. He's grubbing money for their coverage. Like, I've paid you all this money out of my salary for how many years, and when I finally need coverage, you deny me?
Right.
Like,
so now the big question though, was the chick on the shotgun carousel really pregnant?
Yeah, well, no, but the actress with the girl in the blue shirt, she was pregnant.
She was pregnant. I'll be interviewing her soon, actually. Her and I just got in touch with each other.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm doing my first horror movie with her.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, because me and her were having this conversation on Twitter about how, was she really pregnant? And she's like, no, but I was. And I was like, no way. Like, are you serious? So we had this deep conversation about it, and it was really cool. So we're going to have her on my first horror movie here in the next couple of months, because right now she's kind of crazy. But, yeah, we're just, like that's one of those things where the Saw family is such a sweet group of people. And I think we've talked to you about this before.
Well, Frankie G.
I'm not trying to do the whole... Yeah, I'm not trying to do the name drop thing, but Frankie G is actually a very, very good friend of Ashley and ours. Xavier from Saw 2.
A very sweet man.
And he is the sweetest. Like, for my son's birthday, my son's a huge Saw fan, and for my son's birthday, he sent him a video recording like, yo, happy birthday, my boy. I hope you have a great day. If you're not good, I'll show up with that nails in the baseball bat. Cool. We'll have a conversation. He'll
treat like he treated Jonas.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Amanda,
Shawnee Smith.
I can't think of her name. Shawnee Smith.
Yeah,
she was pregnant during the filming of Saw 2.
Yeah, she was.
When he threw her in the needle pit, and she didn't tell him.
Oh,
and she told him afterward, and he was pissed. He was like, "Why would you not tell me that?"
She didn't want him to go light on her.
She was like, "Well, if I would have told you, would you have thrown me?" And he was like,
No,
I fucking would have. You're right, I would not have done it. And I just think that speaks to his character.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the character of Xavier. I mean the character of the man, Frankie G, and how much of a genuine, nice, kind person he is.
And how good of an actor he is, too.
One of those guys that he'll go the extra mile for you all the time. Him and I talk often, and he's just one of those guys that is just over the top excited about every opportunity he gets to talk to fans, and just a sweet guy. Family, a big family man. Loves his wife, loves his kids, got beautiful children. He's somebody I genuinely look up to. He's a great guy.
Actually, that's one thing I would love for the franchise as well. Like, I thought it would have been interesting to have, like, Frankie G and, like, so many other actors from the series and the Flashbacks return. Like, I don't think that was the actor who played Daniel. Like, I'm going to talk about Saw 5 for a second. In the flashback where they're setting up the nerve gas house with the revolver, the safe room. Excuse me, the safe room. I don't think that was the guy who played Daniel, Matthews' actor. Because that's why he was face down. I don't think that was his actor.
See, and those are things, like, I would love for Frankie to have a cameo in Saw X. Maybe he will. We never know.
Maybe.
But I would love to see him available in some type of flashback, or, maybe we could see how he got put into the house. Maybe we could see the planning for it. I don't know. That would be cool, though.
Imagine if the entire final 30 minutes of Saw X is just them setting up Saw 2.
Yeah.
I could see it.
That'd be cool.
I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I also really wanted to talk about, like, do you think William, by the end, with his demise, do you think he was redeemed by the end of the movie with all the tests?
No?
Not at all.
Not at all. I don't think he was. You can make the argument of he didn't have to put his hand in to save anybody. You can make that argument. And I think that's a genuine good argument. Here's my argument. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I think that if he would have survived, he would have gone right back to doing the exact same things he was doing.
I don't know. I kind of feel the opposite of that.
You think he would have been...
I think that would have opened his eyes. Like, he actually has to watch these people die, because the people that he's shooing away, he doesn't have to watch them die.
No.
Because, but he had to watch these people that he might have actually cared about die.
Here's where I'm going to make my argument. He had no empathy when he was talking to that family. All he had was fear for his own life.
Yeah.
Please don't kill me. Don't kill me. Never I'm sorry.
He went over to his sister rather than even looking back to think about the other people that were there. They were completely invisible to him.
Right.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, if it was me, I'd have been like, look, I know what I've taken away from you now, and I can never give that back to you. And if you decide to kill me, I get it. But I wouldn't have been like, please don't kill me, blah, blah, blah. Dude, like, you killed my dad. You killed my partner. Me and Ashley have been together since high school, 18 years. You're going to take her away from me, and you're going to come to me and ask me to save you? No.
Yeah.
No. Like, this is my other half. Like, I can't breathe without you. Like, it's like oxygen. Ashley, like, they're right there. Like, I need them so much. And, like, you're going to take that away from me and then expect me to have empathy to you? No. And he had no empathy towards them. It wasn't, I know what I've taken away from you. I know that I took your father. I know I took your husband. I know I crushed your life with my selfishness, and I'm so sorry. So even if you decide to pull that lever, I understand, and I'm sorry. And I wish I could take it back. And I wish I could give him back to you.
I'm 100% with you, because he showed nothing but selfishness even to the moment he died in that
at the very end.
And that realization of the fear in his eyes. It should have been understanding, but fear in his eyes when he's like, it's not my game. He should have immediately, even before then, gone over to the family and spoken to them and apologized and accepted whatever fate they chose for him.
Because I just feel like if he would have made it through all that, he would have felt even more like a god. He would have felt even more invincible than he did before. He already played God before, and now he beat Jigsaw at his own game. Who can stop me now? I rule the world at this point.
Yeah.
And I've got the stigmata to prove it. You know, like, I've been crucified and I'm back, and let's not sell some insurance, baby.
Exactly. And, that also leads to the connection of Jill Tuck with Hoffman with that final sequence.
I will say this movie does have one of the best game over sequences at the very end.
Yeah.
With every door being shut.
Yeah.
And the swelling of Zepp's theme, I fucking love that.
One of the best Hello Zepp's themes, in my opinion. What is it? Zepp 6, I think it's called. Holy crap. The instrumentals of this one, the heavy bass, and then the more techno feel behind it. I'll say this. I don't love Jigsaw, but there's something about the Hello Zepp, the Zepp 8 in Jigsaw, where it's very, very techno and very synth, that I love about that version of the Hello Zepp theme in Zepp 8. Sure. And Saw 6 has a similar feel to it. And then Hoffman just being a badass as well, where Jill's like, John left 6 envelopes. 5 were for me. No, 5 were for you and 1 was for me. His final will and testament. And it's just a picture of Hoffman. And it leads back to Saw 4. You think just because I'm gone, you will go untested. The games have just begun. And then he's now getting tested, but it's literally a death sentence to end his work forever. To end Jigsaw's legacy.
Well, because Amanda and Hoffman perverted what John was trying to do. Look, now, I'm not ever going to be the guy that defends John Kramer. What I will defend is he's the best part of this franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
He is absolutely the best part of the franchise.
So glad he is the face of Saw 10. Holy crap. I'm sorry.
Yes. No, I agree. But what I will say is, at least in his mind, he had a good reason for what he was doing. Amanda and Hoffman just wanted to kill.
And he was still giving them a chance.
He gave them a chance.
Like, they still had a chance to live. If they had the will to live, he was going to give it. But
the other two,
Amanda and Hoffman, no one had a chance with that.
Don't care. You're going to lose. You're going to die. I'm going to cause it. It's fun.
And it's fascinating because all these traps were designs of Jigsaw, but they rigged them in their own way and altered them so that they were unwinnable. Hell, I look at Saw 3D and I'm looking at majority of those traps and I'm like, a lot of these traps are really cool, but what ruins them is the fact that they are unfucking beatable. Even though these are traps of Jigsaw's own design, you can't tell me the silent circle is fucking beatable. You can't tell me that the fucking, the wheel is beatable. There's no fucking way someone is going to be able to beat that with the knives going into their fucking ribs. You can't tell me the gallows is beatable where the guy is literally blinded with a noose around his neck going across this rickety old fucking, floorboard. I'm sorry. No. If Bobby can't navigate it when he has all senses, there's no way in hell that this thing is beatable.
Right. And I will say that the biggest thing about Saw 3D, because we were talking earlier about how I defend that movie quite often. I do love it. I hate when Bobby's wife dies. I feel this big every time I watch it. Every time I watch it, I'm like, maybe he'll make it this time.
It's the same argument.
Except, again, that's what I don't like about Hoffman and Amanda's Jigsaw traps is the innocent people that don't have a choice.
Yeah, she was like the nicest lady, and she died for no reason.
It's the same argument I have for Morgan in Saw 4 in the Cupid's arrow trap. I understand that she stays silent while her husband Rex was abusing her and abusing their daughter. I'm sorry. I have been in that situation as the child watching my abusive father to my mother and to me. It is not fucking easy to speak up. They are in such a state of fear. And I understand the whole symbolism of, therefore, cut the ties that bind. But I'm sorry, it's not that fucking easy to speak up in that situation, whether it's to authorities, whether it's to support networks. It doesn't matter. She did not deserve to be in that. You're scared.
You feel like you have no way out. Where am I going to go? What am I? Dude, trust me. Spousal abuse is something that either way, whether it's a male to a woman to a male, it's never okay. It's never funny. It's scary. There's just nothing funny about it. I went through it. I watched my mom get beat up by boyfriends growing up.
I went through that with my own ex-partners.
You feel helpless. My superhero is getting beat up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do got to talk about Hoffman getting the reverse bear trap put on him in this movie. Because this is the first time, like, when they're doing that countdown, you're like, we're actually going to see the reverse bear trap in action.
And 30 seconds. So short. It wasn't a minute. It was 30 seconds.
Right.
Like, that to me was another part of this movie that I'm like, I remember being in the theater and just, because I've seen every single one of these films in cinema.
I wish.
And I remember being like, we're finally going to see it. Yeah. It's finally going to happen.
I hate being young. I hate being young. I want to see these movies in theaters.
But yeah, that was just so incredible.
Him breaking his hand in this.
Smart thinking, though.
What was that? Sorry, Ashley?
In that bar.
I said, putting in that bar, that was smart thinking. Like, he had to be a fast thinker.
Well, it shows how smart Hoffman is as well. Like, I in that situation, with that much adrenaline running through my body, I wouldn't have thought to break my hand. And him breaking his own hand using the device in his mouth is one of the only things in this series that still makes me cringe. It's up there with the rack, and it's up there with the finger trap from Spiral. Still makes me cringe. And even though I haven't seen it in play, anything involving eyes and fingers, no thank you. The fucking vacuum from Saw 10 is gonna fuck with me for that reason.
I know. I know. See, for me, the worst one is Bobby's tooth, man.
Nah.
Yeah. Pull his teeth out? I hate teeth.
I'm gonna be honest.
I used to pull my teeth out like when I was a kid.
The reason why my bottom two front teeth are crooked is because when I was like 6 years old, I lost my first tooth, and I'm like, this is so cool. So I actually forced one of my teeth to be wobbly. I did that to myself, and I'm like, oh, cool, now I've got another wobbly tooth. I did that as a 6-year-old, so I'm like, I could do that again. I did it when I was 6. Hell, I could do it now.
No.
Just like deformities for me, like, breaking your own hand or like seeing your bone like the wrong way. That's what freaks me out.
Amputating your own leg with a wire saw, like what we're going to see in the new movie. I've found so many spoilers for these movies watching this TV spots that have been coming out.
We haven't even talked about how Saw 10, is officially the longest entry of the franchise.
Which was recently held by Saw 3. Not even by the extended unrated cut, which is like 10 minutes longer. No. Saw 3 was an hour and 48 fucking minutes long theatrically, and like an hour and 55 minutes extended. Saw 10 just theatrically is going to be an hour and 58 minutes long.
Yes.
Do you think they're going to have a mid-credit? Like what they did for Saw 6?
Yes. Yes,
you
absolutely.
Think they are?
I think they already know the return of John Kramer, what's being brought into this. They already know that they're going to make money. Mm-hmm. Saw 11 or the next Saw entry, whatever they call it, is already in production. It's already going to happen.
I think it's gonna happen. I have a sneaky suspicion this movie already started filming before the strikes happened. I have a very sneaky suspicion because of that interview that happened with Empire, where it's like, we have a very clear direction as to where we go after this. It's very set in stone that there will be more movies with John Kramer. I'm like, they're definitely going to want to with this franchise, considering the IP is now big and popular again, and the amount of hype. Like, this Jigsaw only has 16 million views 5 years after that movie released with that trailer. 5 years after that movie released, it still only has like 16 million views on YouTube, that trailer. Spiral is the exact same situation 2 years later, 3 years later, depending on if you're talking about the teaser from 2020 before the pandemic, and 2021 when the official trailer released. Saw X has over 19 million views, and the trailer's only been out a fucking month. Exactly. Saw is back.
And people, like I said, the minute they heard it was Jigsaw and it wasn't something corny, like, oh, he never really died. Once they seen that, it's Jigsaw, we got a prequel. We're going to see what happened in this time when he went to Mexico. And I love in the trailer, they're like, John Kramer? You fucked with that guy?
Yep. Like, for me, I think it's very set in stone that they're going to do more midquel movies. And they're going to do more between 1 and 2. Hell, I would love them to go back to before 1 and show pre-Amanda, pre-Hoffman, and the first couple games. Not just what we saw in Jigsaw. No. Fuck Jigsaw. That movie sucks.
Yeah.
But I would love to see prior and then have like the movie end with setting up the reverse bear trap. I would love to see stuff like that. I would love to see a big game like what it was. I would love to see a return to form where it's Saw and it's going back to one secluded location like in Saw 1 and 2.
Right.
I would love to see that back again. But before we get going though, I want to ask 2 questions to both of you.
Yeah.
How do you think Saw 6 holds up 14 years later? And what are your thoughts in regards to what could happen in Saw X? Any of your theories, whether that's for the twist, how the game will play out, who lives and who dies? I've found out a few things personally due to analyzing the fuck out of the trailers and the TV spots. But I want to hear what you guys have to say.
So in regards to how well Saw 6 holds up 14 years later, I feel like a lot of the political issues, it's still very relevant today. And, the things that they talked about and they tried to bring to light, we're still dealing with stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I feel it really does hold up 14 years later.
I think it's the one that holds up the most.
Yeah.
Because we're still going through that stuff. Those are still things that we're going through today with insurance companies and lapses in insurance and not being informed about the proper ins and outs of the insurance quotes and stuff like that.
Even like this, it's in fine writing. And you didn't read that part and you were supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And you didn't do that, so now we're not going to cover you. Like that stuff is still so relevant today. And stuff. Yeah, the loopholes that they do. And it's...
I also think that Saw 6 is a damn good fucking sequel to Saw 5, considering how Saw 5 ends. On rewatch, I actually like Saw 5 a lot more than I have in recent years. I actually think Saw 5 is a damn good fucking sequel now. It has its problems, but Saw 6 is a really good fucking sequel in general, but a damn good companion piece to end this trilogy of Saw movies. Like, because, fun fact, David Hackle, who directed 5, was meant to direct 6. He had signed on, but because he was also meant to do Saw 4, but his wife was diagnosed with cancer the day that he got the news that he was to direct Saw 4. So in the end, Darren Lynn Bousman returned to direct Saw 4, and then he went on to do Saw 5 instead, and stayed on as a production designer for 6, which, love that about him, that he took priority over his wife, as opposed to directing Saw 4, and he went and helped her and supported her. She's well and good, and she's alive, and she's fully rehabilitated, I'll say now.
Thank God.
And, you know, they have a loving family, it looks like. She seems so lovely, and I'm so glad he was there for her. And I agree with you guys. Saw 6 is easily still the most relevant Saw movie, one of the most relevant horror movies even today. And it's the one that stands the test of time the most because of its relevancy to real-world issues like the first movie. Because there are tons of serial killers that we know of in the world but have not found or know the identities of that are just... Like, what is the statistic worldwide? 10% of serial killers are found?
Yeah, that's it.
And for that, there could be a real-life Jigsaw serial killer going on in the world right now. Or just serial killers in general. And Saw 1 definitely holds to that candle as relevant as well. Saw 6, though, is easily the most relevant regarding a personal aspect for day-to-day life. And for that, I think it holds the test of time, both relevance-wise and also thematically, and also on a filmmaking perspective as a sequel in this iconic series. Now, what are your theories separately, either one of you, for Saw 10?
You go ahead. I know you have a lot of theories.
John Kramer's gonna live.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm hoping that we get the goriest one yet. I'm hoping that they pull out all the stops because when it comes to the story, there's not much you're going to do to surprise us. We know who's going to live. We know who isn't going to live, with it being a prequel, which is one of the only things about... I'm not a huge fan of horror movie prequels because I know who's in danger and who isn't. So blow me away with something else. You know, make something else stand up and come hard for me.
This has confirmed to be the most violent in the series.
Good.
And the most personal. It's a leveled, grounded movie while also being inherently violent, apparently.
Right. So, you know, make me feel something and shock me with something else. You know, don't make me go into it thinking, well, I know these people are going to live, and then leave going, I knew they were going to make it. You know, give me something, you know, like, because obviously they're promising John a treatment that isn't going to work. We know that.
Most of them are going to die as well. Most of them are going to die as well, per Saw theme. Like, I've heard a lot of complaints with Spiral. Most of them died. All of them died. I'm like, don't they all kind of die in every movie anyway? There's like one or two survivors in each film.
So, yeah, those are my predictions.
Okay. How about you, Ashley?
I feel like, yes, like you said, I want something that's going to shock me. Obviously, I want a twist like the first one. Like I don't want to see it coming. Like I just want to see some great twist. Yeah. That's really all I got.
I'm going to be honest. I don't want a twist. I want them to subvert expectations and not have a twist.
Straightforward.
I want it to be straightforward and be like, all right, Saw 2's next. Pop it in. Because they said that this movie can stand on its own without having seen any of the other movies. It's the most standalone Saw film. I want this to be a movie where it's straightforward, no twist, no nothing. I want this to be a straightforward narrative.
Right. Completely agreed.
So, yeah. Guys, that was our review 14 years later for Saw 6. Saw 3D is next, my favorite Saw movie. I want to thank Ashley and Ken for joining me on this spectacular video talking about, collectively, one of our favorite Saw movies, one of the best ones that we ever got.
Yes.
100%.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. Seriously, it means a lot. As I said, you were the first ones I contacted about doing these videos. And it means a lot that you guys were able to join me, not just for a video in general, but one of my favorite Saw movies. So it really means a lot to have you guys here. We've definitely got to do more collaborations. We've got to do more videos together, whether it's 100%. On your channel, my channel, it doesn't matter. It
absolutely
means a lot to have you guys here. Love the Slumber Party Massacre shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Watched it for the first time last year and I loved it. So good.
Yes.
The hatred towards women is a bit much, but the movie itself is fantastic.
Yes.
I agree.
But where can people find you guys? I'll have all the links down in the description below.
Yep. At Twitter, at Sledgehammer Horror, HOR, Instagram and Facebook at Sledgehammer Horror, and YouTube at Sledgehammer Horror as well. And Threads at Sledgehammer Horror.
Oh, I'll have to get that Threads link off of you guys as well.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot. And it means a lot if you guys would go check out these beautiful people who I've become extremely close with over the years. I'd love to fly out to you guys one day to actually finally meet.
That would be awesome. Amazing.
Like, it would be so cool to finally get to meet you guys, whether it's just hanging out or going to a horror convention. It doesn't matter. Like, I would love that so much. You two are my best friends on the platform. Life gets busy, life gets crazy, where we're not always in contact, of course, but whenever I can, I always try to tune into your streams, your videos, and always try to contact you whenever possible. Life's busy for all of us.
It means the world. Yeah, we love you, and we collabed together for the first time about 3 years ago, and it's
talking about Saw.
Been one of our best friends ever since.
Yes.
Yeah, talking about Saw.
Yeah, it was my first horror movie on your channel, and for me, it was Saw as my first horror movie. I was 6 fucking years old.
That's amazing.
Ironic that my first horror movie was Saw, and I ripped out one of my own teeth at 6 years old as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Look out for Saw 3D 13 years later, coming very, very soon. That's going to be a interesting video to make, especially due to my relationship with that film. It's going to be a fun one. Please go check out Ashley and Ken over at Sledgehammer Horror on all their social medias and their own YouTube channel. It mean a lot to me. I'm sure it would mean the world to them if you guys would all go support them. They're big Saw fans. I know we've got the Saw community on this channel. Please go show them some love and support. It would truly mean the world. Thank you all so much for watching. Look out for more videos coming soon, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.